The state government has spent millions of dollars installing new dialysis machines in the Kimberley, but many of them are sitting idle despite overwhelming demand. The problem lies with a lack of accommodation to house the patients who often travel from remote Aboriginal communities for their treatment. Dozens of patients are now being flown to Perth, but they face a similar problem here. Many are sleeping rough in parks around the city. Aid agencies say there's an urgent need to get more beds to get the patients off the streets. Lucy Martin reports.
It's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday evening, and these salvos have a long night ahead of them.
Hello. Hey guys, Salvation Army.
They trawl Perth's parks and alleyways 3 nights a week, handing out food and blankets to those sleeping rough.
Here you go guys, a blanket and a sleeping bag.
Would you guys want some water?
Hot Milo on its way. There's a sandwich for you, mate. Do you want a pie as well? Now where are you going now? Can I try to get you into Bridge House for the night? All right, catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Yep.
Now, do you want a couple of blankets for tonight?
Yes, please.
Oh, no worries, I'll grab them. Just a sec.
Wellington Square looks different in the daylight, populated by lunching workers from nearby office blocks. But if you look closer,
I always want to go back home, that's all.
My name's Kirk Sullivan. I'm from Laban, small town. I'm up here because of dialysis and medical reasons.
We just lost people here. We don't know which way to go.
this park is a temporary refuge for homeless Aboriginal people, adrift in the city, thousands of kilometres from home.
Hey guys, good to see you again. I got some more food for you here.
Chris Halliday is on first-name terms with most of them.
I'll give you my card so you can come and see me in the office.
He tries his best to find them a bed and a roof before it gets dark.
If we can get you a room today, would you move out of the park today?
Yeah.
All right.
Always.
I'll go and make some calls and see if we can get you somewhere, and then we'll work on how on earth we get you back to South Headland.
These people come from all parts of the state, but many are here for the same reason.
Over and over we hear the same story. People are here for dialysis treatment. They're here for diabetes treatment. In one case we were working with a 7-year-old who was here for brain surgery, sleeping in the park. We're constantly hearing these stories of people who are here from far, far away places for treatment and just have nowhere to stay and no way to get home.
They go to hospitals around Perth for treatment during the day, and some return to Wellington Square to sleep in the park at night.
We hear every single day people say, I do not want to be here, I'm lost, I'm stuck. So we need to be asking why they're coming here, why is Perth the only place they can have their treatment, and certainly why isn't there more opportunities for people to stay somewhere adequate and appropriate while they're here?
Perth is not the only place dialysis patients can be treated, but restrictions with budgets and resources mean some sufferers do end up in the city. There are 64 people from regional WA receiving dialysis in Perth. Most are from the Kimberley.
Okay, Wally, you just lift your arm up for me. There you go. Down.
This clinic in Broome is one of 4 places in the Kimberley where dialysis patients can get treatment close to home. Kidney disease is a huge problem here, affecting some 1,200 people in the region.
It's bounding away. It's like a galloping horse, isn't it?
Sufferers need regular sessions on a dialysis machine to stay alive. The machine performs functions their bodies can't, removing waste, salt and excess water from their kidneys. The Kimberley Aboriginal Medical Service is contracted to provide vital dialysis services in the region. It has enough machines to treat 120 patients across the Kimberley every week, but only 76 patients are receiving the life-saving procedure.
Firstly, just check this prescription against what's been printed out this morning.
Renal Services Manager Jenny Cutter says the demand is staggering.
We have approximately 30
35 patients on the waiting list at the moment, and we know from research that we've done and tracking our patients that in the coming years we've got at least 45 to 60 patients that are going to require dialysis within the next 18 months to 2 years.
Last year, the state government spent millions of dollars installing new dialysis machines in Fitzroy Crossing, Kununurra and Derby. Some 30 patients were able to return home for treatment, but almost 40 others are still stuck in Perth because while the service now has the equipment it needs, it doesn't have anywhere to house the patients.
For years we've been lobbying to get the facilities in place. Now they're there, the patients are saying, well, we've got what we asked for, why can't we come? Why can't we stay here? We get some people who say, I would rather die than go to Perth.
The service will receive more funding in the new financial year, enough to treat an extra 16 patients. That's if they can find the accommodation.
Now, I thought the problem had been addressed with the additional money we put in, but the numbers continue to grow.
The Health Minister, Kim Hames, says it's in the government's best interest to treat patients close to their home.
Renal dialysis should not need to be done in Perth, except for a very small number of severe cases. Most of them should be able to have treatment back in country, and that's where all their families are.
The state and federal governments are working together to expand dialysis services across WA and build hostels for patients to live in. Construction on 68 beds across the Kimberley will start next year. In the meantime, the waiting list is growing. New machines in the Kimberley are sitting idle and dozens of patients are being sent to Perth.
So do you have anywhere to stay while you're in Perth?
No, I've got nowhere to stay.
Okay. And is this your wife?
Yeah, we lost.
Patients who must travel for treatment are eligible for up to $60 per night to spend on accommodation under the state's Patient Assisted Travel Scheme. They get $75 if travelling with an escort. But the Salvation Army says not everyone is accessing the funds, and those who do still struggle to make ends meet.
There's just not accommodation available here in Perth, and those few beds that are available for people who are here, for example, for treatment, we're finding they cost just under $500 a week. So you don't get much change for $500, and that doesn't then leave money for food.
There is a hostel in Bayswater that offers patients accommodation, meals and transport for 6 months. But places are limited, and the no alcohol policy doesn't fit with many patients who have addictions.
We need to see more accommodation options for people here in Perth, and they need to be options that allow for family to come and stay with people who are having treatment. They need to be options that accept that people who are being sent here still have some kind of alcohol dependence. There certainly need to be accommodation options that keep in mind that people are coming here far away from home and have some really unique needs, and allow people to work through that.
Terence has come down from Fitzroy Crossing for dialysis. His family are also here to support him.
He had enough for Jewel House for one night, but he can't afford it, see?
Yep.
And he needs to buy his like fruit and veg, healthy food, you know?
Yep.
And they don't provide that in Jewel House, but he had enough for one night there.
The Salvation Army frequently pays hundreds of dollars to help patients find a bed.
Now, if we can pay for him for another couple of weeks at Jewel House, would he like to stay there?
Yes.
Well, they're not sleeping there through lack of accommodation. Everyone's entitled who comes from the country to get funding, and they do get funding to provide for accommodation. In fact, just up the road we've got Jewel House, the old nurses' quarters, where accommodation managed by YMCA is provided for all patients.
The Health Minister says the assistance was never designed to cover the full cost of accommodation, but he's confident $60 a night is enough for patients to find a bed if they want to.
I've not seen any proof that those people don't have accommodation. That's only conjecture by people. In fact, I strongly suspect that it's not them that doesn't have the accommodation, but family members who might come with them. It's not our job as a state government to also fund a whole range of other family members who want to come and be with them during treatment.
It's true that many in the park are not patients.
In our culture, like families got to be together, and we can't get that back home because they got to be down here, doctor's orders, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll follow our family.
A family room in Jewel House costs upwards of $130, so many relatives end up sleeping in the park. Many patients are offered accommodation but choose to sleep out with their family rather than stay on their own.
They're making a choice between, on their days away from treatment, sitting in a single room with a single bed on their own, or sitting out in the open, in a park with a community where they can have a bit of a laugh and feel good about themselves.
Few pass up the Salvo's offer of a roof over their head.
If we can get you a room today, would you move out of the park today?
Yeah.
All right.
Always.
A parliamentary committee is currently reviewing the assistance scheme to find out whether the accommodation subsidy is adequate. Some people are here because they're no longer welcome at their hostel due to alcohol abuse or violent behaviour. They come to the park and bring their problems with them. The neighbours are not impressed. Residents of this apartment block opposite the park say the situation is intolerable, but they're not talking about the plight of those sleeping rough. In a petition sent to Parliament, residents say this place is a ghetto, plagued by crime, violence and rubbish. They say they don't feel safe at night. Their suggestion is for Aboriginal people to receive medical treatment away from the CBD.
It struck me as a certain element of social obscenity to suggest that Aboriginal people aren't entitled to those health services that are based in the CBD.
The opposition's Indigenous Affairs spokesman says some residents are missing the point.
I have no doubt there's antisocial problems that are a nightmare for people who live in that area. However, removing health services from Aboriginal people who are there is not the solution. What clearly needs to be looked at is how many of those people are coming perhaps from regional WA to access those health services, and what accommodation options can be provided to those people and their family supporters.
Other residents have distanced themselves from the petition.
Some people see it as an immediate sort of police issue, is to sort of come down hard on people who are behaving in an antisocial way. But behind that, you have to ask the question is, why are these people here? How long have they been here? Why is this going on?
The East Perth Community Safety Group is keen to resolve the issue. At least a dozen other stakeholders are trying to do the same thing. Caught in the crossfire, the Salvos are trying to keep the peace while working with authorities towards long-term solutions.
My name's Chris.
Yeah.
Come and ask for me Tuesday.
Yep.
And we will try to get some help for you to get back to Kununurra, okay?
Okay.
Don't want you sleeping in the park anymore.
For the Salvos, the nightly ritual will continue, but with funding limiting their patrols to 3 nights a week, they too need a helping hand.
Lily, here you go, Lily. Cup of tea, no sugars. This really is an all-of-community conversation. We need to all be talking about what we can do and how we can help rather than passing the buck. White coffee, that's easy. We will never ever stop doing everything we can to try to help those who do not want to be in this situation.
Lucy Martin with that report.